Hey, hey, hey. Hello, hello. Hey. Hello, hello. Is there a delay? Hey. Hello, hello. Is there a delay? Close that out. All right. Welcome to Politics and Wellness. This is a new show that I came up with my best friend, of course. And I figured we'd do something together to collaborate and work together on. Again, welcome to Politics and Wellness. And without further ado, I'll bring in my co-host.
Hey everybody, how are you?
Hey, and it is Mr. Credential himself.
Yes.
Hey, everybody, how you doing? Welcome into the room. Actually, you come in, could you please hit that like button? Please hit the likes buttons. Please. Thank you.
Yes, please, and thank you.
Right. All right. So, politics and wellness. All right. What this show is going to be about, and it's going to be a recurring show, mostly every Tuesday. As far as the time, not really sure yet, just depending on the schedules. But we'll basically be talking about politics of the day and some mental wellness awareness, as well as some stories that you may or may not know, some information that we can all share with each other. Anything to get to a better place. All right.
Yes.
So it is so much that has actually just hit my phone, like just moments before I hit the live button. So please bear with me as I kind of put all this stuff together. I'll let Mr. Credential introduce himself and let him tell you a little bit about himself. But as you come in, like I said, welcome to a CCN network production of politics and wellness. Mr. Credential, take it away.
Yes, welcome everybody. I'm trying to get in on my other device so I can see you guys. So if you guys are speaking to me in the chat, I apologize. I promise I'm not ignoring you, but I'm having some technical difficulty, but we're gonna solve that in a minute.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's okay. We're gonna work it out though. But again, I am a new content subscriber and creator actually. And I've mentioned before in a previous live that we did, but I am actually just graduated last month with my bachelor's in business administration, but I have a strong background in mental health just from working on my own and dealing with, um, actually, to be honest with you, working with patients and dealing with life and just meeting and greeting people and people honestly just kind of putting some shade out there to be, if I'm being honest. So my channel is MrCredentialed, and my email is MrCredentialed@gmail.com. There will be some new things, like for example, the show that we're starting in the new year. I am starting my support group this year as well, so I encourage you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button over at my channel because there will be some things that will be coming out, and I won't want you to miss it. Cap and I have actually joined together because we feel like, and we realize actually that Cap's content and my content kind of go hand in hand because politics, as we'll explain a little further tonight, will affect your mental wellness. Just want to come and give you guys a double whammy this year. We hope that you are receptive to it and that you learn something. That's what the number one goal here is, to actually get people near and far to learn a few things as far as what we have to offer. Kind of consider me an understudy for the moment, and I'm hitting in the background until he's bringing me out fully. So nice to meet everyone. I'm gonna work on this glitch over here and let Cap take it away.
All right. So many things to talk about. I know a lot of people have reached out and asked certain questions about certain things. So if I can remember, first, let's talk about this draft situation that Donald Trump mentioned in his speech after the attack on the Iranian general, Qasem Soleimani. All right, so the backstory a little bit on that. They've been telling him to basically to kill this general for the longest time, and he hasn't done it. It's just my personal feelings and my personal thoughts. So please, these are just my views. But I think he held on to it until he needed it, and I think the actual trial for his impeachment was supposed to start this week, like Monday. So I think he used the attack as a way to buy time. So with that, I didn't watch the speech completely, but I did hear murmurs that he was talking about reinstilling the draft. However, he's already been doing this. Like, it's a lot of stuff that he's been doing secretly that nobody talks about, because all they talk about is when he uses, derogatory language or anything else. And he uses that stuff to cover up exactly what he's doing. So back in July, I believe he had sent forth a proposal to bring back the draft for only men. And the federal judge shut that down and said, no, you can't do that. That's being discriminatory, because women are in the armed forces as well. And they, play a particular role as well as for the nation's safety. So that got struck down. However, he is appealing it right now as we speak. My problem with that is he's a draft dodger himself, and many people of wealth know how to get around getting in the draft. The people that would be most affected by the draft would be us. There's a different kind of criteria that he's going for. Basically, any able-bodied person, able-bodied man, he wants you to enlist and fight for your country. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm all for it, but as we all know, this country ain't been so great for us, so I can respect the fact that some people choose not to fight for a country that hasn't been so great to them. So, with all due respect, I respect that as well. Yeah. With that, any other political things that's been happening? Of course, Nancy Pelosi has decided to put forth articles to stop the president in making drastic decisions and basically pressing the nuke button on Iran or any other country that he feels fit. So hopefully she is able to push that through. Of course, when they push it through the Congress, it would have to go through the Senate as well. That's going to be tough. Mm-hmm. As far as what I just got today, Mitch McConnell says that he has enough votes to move along with the impeachment trial without adding any new witnesses or any new evidence. Wow. So basically what they want to do is trying to push this mess through as fast as possible. And I'm hoping that there are some Republicans that say, hold up, we need to do due process through all things. We need to make sure that all the evidence and all the witnesses have been heard from. So hopefully, let's keep our fingers crossed for that. Like I said, I just got tons of stuff over my phone, so bear with me. I just got that Trump is secretly trying to do away with some disability benefits. So anybody on disability, or if you have parents or grandparents on disability, he is really trying to do away with the disability for many people. So please, you gotta start paying attention, because he is doing a lot of things while we're focusing on whether we're going to war or not. They're setting up to do a lot of things under our noses. They want to get rid of trying to limit the people on disability. So anybody on it right now going through review, if he actually gets his way with this, you may not get it. Moving forward from that, and I'll get back to it and I'll go more into detail. I'll probably, of course, do a news review on it, so I'll give you more detail. But this is just skimming from what I just got a couple months ago. The Department of Justice is looking to give Flint, who was the national security for Trump, the first one, he's about to give him only 6 months. So that's going to be
Wow.
interesting. This man has known a lot about what was going on. Remember, he was the one telling all the dirt in the beginning so he could get a lesser sentence. But now the Justice
Yes.
Department has intervened and now want to give him only 6 months in jail.
Wow.
So a lot of things are really happening like in the moment. You just had the CEO of Facebook, Mike Zuckerberg. He just went before Maxine Waters and her finance committee and basically said that they helped Trump get elected and it is happening again. So it is, yeah, he's desperate for reelection. And I have
Dang.
hope that, it's been proven in history that a war does not guarantee that you get reelected. I mean, it happened with George W. Bush, but his father, George H.W. Bush, did not get reelected after winning the Gulf War. So there is no guarantee that a war will win. We just have to get out there and vote. You have to do your research. I mean, and if you're not the research type, I mean, I know there's some things that people look forward to or are important to them, whether it's healthcare, whether it's daycare, whether it's paid leave, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
increasing your pay. I think and you need to focus on whatever it is, even if it's just one thing. And you need to listen. Take a moment to listen to the candidates and make sure that they are really giving you exactly what you are looking for. And if that candidate doesn't make it, you press the fire to the next candidate and make sure, hey, this is what I need you to do. This is what I want from you. So that's all I have on politics right now. Anybody have any questions? Because I know, like, if you have any questions that I can't answer here or anything of that nature, you are more than welcome to send me an email. My email is down in the description box. You can email me at any time. Even if it's to go back and forth, I am open to dialogue as long as it's respectful. If not, I will not answer it. But for the most part, as long as it's respectful, you could have a difference of opinion, you could have a difference of party, and that's fine. That's what America is, truly in its essence. So I think it's that's okay. That's how we grow and learn. And with
Right.
that, that's all I have right now for the politics version of this. We can get into the mental wellness and then some other stories that kind of connect the two that we'll talk about. But
Okay.
Mr. Credential.
Most definitely. One of the stories that I do want to touch on that is specific to what you just said is the basis upon the deployment site crashing. So I don't know if anybody is aware, but you can go and check, I think, your personal status and I think just the general status. Am I right about that, Kat? You can check your personal status, or
You said what?
you can, yeah, I see.
Yeah.
So you can go and check your status personally as far as your deployment status, or is there actual deployment going on?
No, the deployment that's actually going on are only for people who are enlisted at this moment.
Okay, right.
What he is pushing for is basically back to the draft, but only
Right.
for males.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
So,
that's what he's pushing
okay.
for.
Just want to make sure I was.
Yeah, he hasn't got the okay for that. A federal judge has knocked that down. So what he's probably going to wind up doing is taking it to the Supreme Court, like he always does. That's why he put the people in there that he did.
Right.
Let me see if I can get to some of these questions real quick. 1 moment. What is Trump's reasoning for stopping disability? He is stopping disability, cutting disability off for just a number of people and a different amount of reasons. He hasn't, in the article, it hasn't given any direct. It's mainly if you don't, they're going to intensify the criteria in which they have. So examinations will probably be a little more lengthy. The filling out process will probably be thing. The vetting process will probably be a little intense in order for you to actually get through and get disability. What do I think about Bolton testifying? I I said this yesterday. I think he's just using it for his book tour. He has a book coming out soon, and his book will talk about, his time in the White House like everybody else. So I think he is going to utilize all this talk about him testifying and get in front of the Senate, which is majority Republicans, and talk about nothing. Use the presidential privilege or something where in which he doesn't have to testify, and they'll be okay with that. They won't fight him. I believe he didn't want to go in front of the Congress committee because they would have fought him on everything. They wouldn't have let him just, skate on by. So he figured, I'm not going to testify for them, but I'll testify for the Senate. So we'll see.
Okay.
Anything you want to add? I'm just looking through.
No, I did look through the chat. Like I said, I'm sorry for everyone who spoke earlier. I didn't see anything specific other than the one thing that you grabbed out of the chat, unless I'm missing something. But I wanted to definitely make mention on a mental wellness note about how having yourself together mentally helps and affects everyone around you. So having it together causes the people having it or not having it together can cause the people around you either to be peaceful and have bliss, or can cause them to have a stressful environment and they become a product of the environment that you build. And to me, it's really solid and really important to have a solid foundation, because you are, again, I said it before in our previous live, you don't want to project your demons onto other people. So if you're having financial issues and your kids need something, so you got to be careful how you project that, because you're stressed because your money is tight, but your kids have a valid need. So you kind of have to get that middle ground and say, hey, I'm stressed right now. Can we talk about this later? You have to actually come back to the things that are important, so that getting hit at the wrong time doesn't cause you to respond in an inadequate way.
Yeah.
Just taking 5 to think before you respond.
Yeah, that's very true, because responding without thinking can cause some life-changing situations.
Yes.
It's important, but we don't utilize it. There's this book that I employ people to get. The author escapes me, but it is Emotional Intelligence. I know Jay Wilson talks about it a lot, but I've actually read the book. It's a quick read. I've read it way before I really got involved in YouTube, and it really just talks about controlling. When you get angry, you let people have control of you, and I think it's very important that we learn to kind of center ourselves. And it's not about Najee Rumba, as you like to say all the time when I'm being peaceful, but it's really just about controlling yourself, controlling your anger, really dissecting, like, okay, what am I mad about? How does this affect me? And if it doesn't, kind of deal with it accordingly and let it go. We let things in our daily lives get us so wound up and so detached from a lot of things that we lose focus. And it's happened to all of us. We've gotten really angry or, whatever, or really disappointed and just really lost it. But it just teaches you how to basically focus on what's important. Like, you dissect the whole thing, even if it's an argument or whatever. You just like, why did I get mad at that moment? What made me mad at that moment? How can I then change or redirect that anger to something more positive? It even taught me how to, like, when I have discussions with people and I get heated in what I believe in, not necessarily I'm angry, I'm just like excited about it. And I'm ready to respond immediately after you said your piece. Like, it teaches you how to take that moment to really think about what you're going to say, listen first to what the person is saying, and then, respond adequately without just firing off, at the mouth, because, you're just ready to go, to really listen to what the other person is saying, because you'll actually gain key elements of what they're saying that could be useful to you.
I agree. While you were speaking, I was looking at Teneri K, and she said, if it doesn't affect you, let it go. Teneri, I agree with that. But it's not easy for everyone, though.
It takes training, though. It does take training.
It's bigger than training though, because some people suffer with things that won't allow them to just let something go. Anxiety, for an example. Someone with anxiety, they pretty much think about riding the bus around your local city until the last stop every day, and then getting back and riding it the other way. It keeps going and going and going for them. So telling someone with anxiety not to trip out is like telling a kid not to be sneaky. It's going to happen inevitably, whether you're watching it or not. So I do agree with that, and I do get it. But sometimes a play on words, can kind of make someone feel anxiety about having anxiety. There is such a thing. You can have anxiety about having anxiety, and a lot of people won't speak on it because they think that they are not understood.
Yeah.
What's simple to you may not be simple to someone else.
Right, and I mean that's true, and that's adequate. I was reading something that Miss Sister said, and I just want to pull this out because
I'm looking at that too.
That's me. I verbalize my anger, and sometimes my expression is definitely on my face. Like my friends, my closest friends, Miss Scorpio is one of them. She could tell you that I cannot hide my expression on my face at all. You can read. You laughing because you can read everything, even if I try to hide it. Like no, I don't. I'm fine. You can see it on my face. So
all over.
I try to control that. I'm still working on that. I'm a work in progress with that. But it comes with a lot of work. I mean, it's not easy. But you gotta really kind of focus in on it, and you can do a little bit at a time. It's nothing that moves overnight.
It's consistent work. Even when you've got the best place, is still a better place to get into. While you were speaking, I was looking at Patty Duke, and she said we as Black people tend to ignore our mental health, and I do believe that. But you know why that happens? It happens because it's taught. It's taught to be ignored. It's not put at the forefront. It's not discussed. It's not dealt with in family. So those things that you don't deal with in your family then become habitual that you won't deal with it. But if it's put at the forefront and taught about and thought about and actually taking a step back, like, why is my child instead of freaking out because your child is acting out in school, step back. Why is my child acting out in school?
Yeah.
What is causing this?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of this has to do with stigmas, of course, towards mental health, and thinking that because you go to a psychiatrist or you have an issue that you're crazy.
Right.
And then two, let's be very frank about it. In Black families, we have a lot of secrets, and and not to poke fun, but what's that movie that said secrets eat away at us? But they do. They eat away at our being. They actually transform us into different things because we wind up carrying the secret of the past with us and then carrying it on. And we need to learn to break that chain of keeping family secrets and really exposing the hurt. Because that's the only way that we get to move forward. You cannot move forward holding back hurt. Like it doesn't work.
So in taking this back and tying it back in with the politics, it is also important for you to exercise your right of mental health and not be exercise your own standard. When you go to the poll, even if politics isn't your thing, because Cap can tell you that politics at one point was not my thing, but I've grown, I've learned, I've adopted it and adapted to it and made it a thing, because what happens in those polls affects your mental health. When you can't go and get health care because you can't afford it, or when you're going and you're denied from healthcare because of certain laws and things that have been put into an action, if you will, those things will affect you. When minimum wage laws don't get passed properly, and you're not able to afford to feed your family because the president that was elected is in office, all of that, it's a trickle down effect. And that's why it's important to exercise your voice, because you're given a voice because it needs to be heard. But number one, people fought because they did. So it's not about need to come together and need to do to make our family, loved ones, and our friends you may not care for are registered. because that's the first step, registration. And then the next step is actually when it's time to get out there and go to actually do it, because a lot of people sit back and don't go and vote, and then they want to complain, and then they spend time and, oh, I can't do this, I can't get that. But some of the things, just some of the things, for example, our loved ones who may be recipients of public assistance or government assistance, all those things are affected by the people who are in the office, the people that we either put in or do not put in because we either voted or didn't vote. So your choice, you make a choice with your mental health to a small degree by not exercising your rights.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking on voting, please check out vote.org. And I say that because a lot of Republican governors are purging their state voting rolls. So, everybody's from a particular state here. So if you go to vote.org, you can find out your state. Check to make sure that you are still registered. I know Georgia, because it was in the one of the papers. Georgia, the governor purged like 500,000 people from the voting rolls. It's half a million people, like half a million people. So, and all them people can't be dead. You know what I'm saying? So, or moved away or anything like that. So it's just pay attention. Like they're doing everything they can to make sure that they stay in power.
Right. And just remember, it sounds cliche because people say it all the time, but if they say it all the time, sometimes you might consider the fact that it might be true. If it did not matter, if it wasn't important, they would not try to take it from you.
Right. Exactly.
Remember that, please. If nothing else, remember that when it comes to voting.
Yeah, definitely. They're working their behinds off to take it.
Yes.
Whatever means.
Looking at Patty Duke, she said she suffered from anxiety attacks and was pretty much laughed at and told to let it go and get over it. Again, it's hard to deal with something when they don't know how to deal with it. So they don't know what you're feeling in your mind. They don't know what you're feeling in your heart and your chest if it's something that's making you panicky. If it's mental illness where you hear voices, they can't hear them. So it's not something, mental health and mental wellness is not something that I mean, the general public are taught empathy for. It's something that you learn empathy for.
Right.
And I think that a lot of families, from all nationalities, lack that because they don't know. If I say I hear voices, it's laughed off, it's pushed away.
Right.
But if I hear voices, shouldn't I talk to somebody about someone speaking and whispering in my ear? That's why that Momo thing that was all over the internet was so popular, because it was telling little kids kill themselves. And little kids are influenced by toys and internet and YouTube because it's free, it's fun, it's at their disposal. So they enjoy it.
I would like to really quick say welcome to everybody in the room. Please make sure you hit that like button on your way in.
Yes, please.
There was a mental health issue somewhere. Somebody wrote that I thought was his sister said it's been she's been in healthcare for 18 years, and some doctors are just in it for the money. They could care less about the patients. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I agree because I've been in it just about as long. But don't group all of them together though. Find the ones that care. Find the ones that want to be that are going to treat you right. And the ones that are not going to treat you right, dismiss them and, report them if you need to. But don't just take it as because some doctors are about the money that they all are, because I know more than a handful that are so passionate about their people, the specialties, and everything. Is they can care less about the money.
Yeah. Hey, girl. Hey, to Really Be. How you doing? Thank you.
Hey, Really Be. Hey.
Did I hear about Iran taking credit for the rocket attack in Iraq, U.S. base? Yeah, I did. And of course, that's going to happen after what happened. They're going to take credit for a lot of things that are going to start to happen right about now. I just feel it's unfortunate that once again, our loved ones and our family members are taken away to combat this choice. It was really just a choice. They were in a negotiation that President Barack Obama, set a nuclear pact that he had set. So this president has done everything to dismantle what this, black man, let's be honest, has done before him. And basically, I really just think is just because of that joke that he did at the correspondence dinner about Donald Trump, and he's been gunning for him ever since. And I think it's unfortunate that some of us seem to ignore the fact that racism is alive and well in this country, and it's always been. This just set the alarm and woke the people up. And just like they woke up, we need to wake up and really start paying attention. Really start going out and going to town hall meetings. Don't ignore them. Council meetings. Even in your cities, go to your aldermen's meetings and make sure that you know what's going on in your cities, that you know that your centers are being closed, all these things, because it's important. That's how gentrification is happening in our cities, in our inner cities. So like all of a sudden now it's cool to live in the inner city. When did that happen? Like all of a sudden now it's cool to be there. I mean, it's ridiculous. And we just really need to start, really paying attention. Do you believe?
So something that I'm sorry, you were reading something.
No, I was just reading something. Go ahead.
Yeah, something that Cap and I spoke about not too long ago is the fact that it's been noted that the president has not done a press conference in over 300 days. And there are only 365 days in a year, so which means it's nearing that. Anybody have any opinions about that in the chat? How do you feel about all the issues that are going on, and all the most that you get from your president of the United States is Twitter tweets?
Well, I mean, like I said to you, I'll just say this. It is mainly because he does not like to be told, that what he's doing is wrong. And no one has ever done that. He, for all intents and purposes, he is a big child. He does not like somebody saying, hey, no, you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that. He just feels like he can do whatever he wants, because basically he thinks that this is a toy, it's a game, it's something to play with. Our soldiers are not those little green men that you can pick up and play with. They are men and women who have families, who are sons and daughters, husbands and wives, brothers and sisters. So, this is not what's that game? Call of Duty and stuff of that nature. I have a cousin who's in law enforcement, and he said to me personally that a lot of police officers think that, going out there on the beat is like playing Call of Duty, and they get excited by it. But they won't go into areas in which they, they have low, maybe like low areas of income that they happen to look like. Not us, I'm talking about the others. They won't go and police into areas in which there are low income people that look like them, because they feel like that's beneath them. But they'll come into our areas and over police us. I'm just saying like that. It's really, and again, these are young kids, some coming from the military, some coming from other places, but they think that this whole, like, coming into the area and, having the gun, they think of it as playing a game like Call of Duty, and they don't think nothing of it. They don't think of it as an actual human life. So I think that's pretty disturbing.
I 100% agree with you. I can't even comment because you said it all. It's nothing else to really say. Like, that's just enough. But I do want to get to what sister said. She said, name two things you like to see change in 2020 regarding politics and healthcare. So let's start with healthcare, because that's my niche and it's so much easier for me to expound upon. Healthcare, I would like to see medical assistance not be based upon income, based upon need, because there are a lot of seniors out here that cannot afford their medication every day and every week, and they're saying, "Can I have? How much is 2 pills? How much is 4 pills?" Constantly, because they can't afford, even with the good RX, and they can't afford to get their medication. and the doctor is issuing the medication, expecting them to be able to afford it. When the doctor writes the script, he or she does not ask, "Can you afford it?" Unless the patient advocates and say, "I can't afford this. Can you prescribe something else?" And again, this is why mental health comes into play. Again, healthcare, something else. I don't know. I would say one for that, and then one with politics. One thing with politics, I would like to see people to take it more seriously, because that's one thing that we can alter. That's one thing that we can control, is how we take it, how we deal with it, how we enter it into our families, how we enter it into our community. We can't control what goes on behind the scenes. We can't control after the ballot is cast. Well, we can control our ballot. That's what I would like to see, people to get more passionate about voting.
It's scary that our president will start a whole war on Twitter. Yeah, it is. It is pretty scary. I mean, I didn't even know Twitter was that popular in the federal government at that level, to where in which a president can be on it. Like, Obama was like forbidden to be on Twitter. Like, he didn't even, even if he had a Twitter, like somebody else handled it. So I don't understand the thing with that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Obama was not allowed to really do much of anything. If any of the stuff that our current president said or does was done, oh gosh, can you imagine? I don't even want to put words to it. He would be. I'm just gonna leave it alone.
It would be
it's not
crazy. I mean, although I wish that, even though it was harder for him to do in his second term because of the Republican House and Senate, I just wish he would have just been like, you know what, I'm executive ordering this, I'm giving the executive order that, and just went out with like a total bang, like just.
Yeah, but it's the integrity thing.
Yeah.
You know. It's just you're right about that, about the samples and everything like that, but it really depends on the specialty that the medicine is on or in. It really depends, because you have to think that they get tons of samples, but how often are they getting them? Some reps come more frequently than others, and you have to think how much of how much of the doctors actually have to proportion the amount of medicine that the reps are giving be across all of that patient. Because again, you may have 5 pills in a bottle. That's a sample bottle, and the patient takes the medicine every day. The sample is mostly to get them through until they either get it or until the insurance company approves the medicine. I mean, the thing with samples, I'm not saying that I don't believe in it, I don't agree. I'm not saying that, but it can be looked at in a lot of different ways, because again, sometimes the reps bring stuff, sometimes they don't. And I think the more pull that the doctor has on the or in the field, the more pull the reps give to them. Like, hey, we're just going to give you everything because you make all the money, you get all the patients. We're going to give you all the free stuff. Versus another doctor who's in taking half of those patients. So it's it's a slippery slope with that.
Yeah. I mean, giving out samples, I think is a great way, but you know, certain patients, depending on the relationship you have with the doctor too, they are getting the samples or more of the samples because of their relationship. And if you don't really have that kind of relationship with your care provider, you may not even know he has samples. You know, he may just give you the prescription and be like, okay, go fill it. So it's a bit of a conundrum with that.
Yeah, and that's something that I want to encourage everybody to do, because it's about, again, all goes back to mental health, is that your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, your nieces, your nephews, whomever, when they go to the doctor, if they're taking the medication that is necessary, always ask for samples. Don't just let them send you out with the script. Ask for samples, ask for discount cards, ask for whatever you can get them to do. Ask for a generic. Make sure that you're getting the best deal, the best price, the best quantity, whatever freebies they have. Make sure that you are embarking upon it, because they will not. They just save them. Some of them I'll just go to because it expensive. So be sure that you can get all the freebies and all the discounts you can, because healthcare is a business ultimately.
Yeah, I did just get an alert as well, even though my phone is silent. Yeah, U.S. base has been attacked. Of course, it is in retaliation for the death of the general.
Wow.
Of course, the Iranians are taking credit for it, and basically forcing Trump to respond. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like all this is a bit crazy, but again, when you don't really understand the gravity of doing something and how it will affect people other
Mm-hmm.
than it just affecting your ego, or you
Mm-hmm.
mad because your trial is about to start and you want to do something to push it away. These are lives that are actually uh getting changed.
Right.
It was so heart wrenching and graphic to see all of those men and women, men and women in service praying before they were deployed. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's when you see real humanity at its best. You see
Right.
that it doesn't matter what faith you believe, or what race you are, what sexual identity you go by. At
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, we all have that same yearning of just wanting to be. And
Right.
it's a service that they do to protect us, here and abroad, and at the same time they sacrifice a lot.
Right.
They
Right.
sacrifice their time away from their families, and so on and so forth. So
Right.
I
Right.
think it's nothing to take lightly. It's nothing to
Right.
just um, shoot a missile, or declare a war. I think
Right.
the first thing we should always be looking for is somebody to do something more diplomatic,
Right.
than at last resort go to that. But it should
Yeah.
never be something where it's always an option. Never.
Yeah. 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 Child's play should never be involved with the laws of the nation, not just the U.S., the nation.
A patient is not able to.
Looking at what Taneri said, I do believe that this is a distraction. Cap and I discussed that before, so I do believe that this is a distraction to get away from the topic of him being impeached. I do believe that it's just merely a
Yeah, his
distraction.
trial was supposed to start this week, so he's going to do
Yeah.
anything he's done now, and this will always be talking about it. It was like he almost did it just so we'd be talking about this instead of talking about prescription drugs and how healthcare is
Right.
going to change in a couple months, because that's going to
Right.
be next on the docket. Come, maybe in a month or two, we'll be talking about healthcare and prescription drugs, and all these things
Mm-hmm.
that we're talking about right now will be an
Mm-hmm.
issue. Hello,
Yep.
hello, hello. Welcome to everybody who just got in. Please
Hello,
hit the thumbs
everyone.
up button, please. Thank you.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. We appreciate you guys listening and getting some education from some people versed in different arenas. We appreciate it.
Did you see that question that Kim Black wrote? Well, it
I'm
wasn't
in,
a question, but
I'm looking at it, and
I just thought it was interesting.
yeah, Kimberly Black. That is very, very true. But that goes back to the insurance company being in control. You're just a number to the insurance company. So when a lot of times the patients are discharged before they should be, and that's one of the things. Um, and when the insurance company is not really about what the patient can afford, it's about what their portion is. So it's not really about any of that. They depend on. It's just like I don't care if you can't afford it because the pharmacy doesn't give out free medicine.
Right.
The pharmacy doesn't give you because
Not
it's
at
a
all.
business. So again, it is crazy that they discharge these patients on insurance. But again, it's a business, and if they cannot make money from you any longer, you become a debt, and they know that you can't afford it, so they kick you out, no matter what your circumstances are. I'm not going to say names, but I've worked in the operating room before, and I've seen a patient in an ICU bed that couldn't move, that was nearly a vegetable. This was maybe about in 2008, that had a hip replacement done. Now, tell me why a 90-some-year-old woman that's in the stage being a vegetable would need a hip replacement.
Right.
So it's not abnormal to see these things going on, unfortunately. And working around it, you see a lot of things that they try to sweep under the rugs and hide from the families, unfortunately. So let's talk about that suicide with the Florida football star. You know more about that, but about the whole backstory.
Yeah, well, if you can check out, I think it was 2 days ago, the news report I did. I think it was with the young girl, the little 11-month-old baby who was on life support. This man in Houston who killed his fiance after knowing the woman for like 2 months. They were engaged. And then, yeah, it's a high school football star who committed suicide. And there has been an alarming rise in suicide among Black adolescents, boys and girls alike. From what it could be an array of things, from social media pressure and bullying to family life to sexual identity. I mean, I don't know, but there has been a rise. As far as the numbers, I ain't gonna really go into the numbers because I think they were a little bit padded astronomically. I think one of the articles had the girls at like 128%, and I'm just like, what kind of mess is that? But I really think it's important. I think it's important that as a parent, if you are a parent, to talk to your kids and have somewhat of an interaction. Yes, you don't have to be your child's friend, because my mother always made sure that there was a level of friendship and respect. But the respect was higher than the friendship. I mean, we did have moments where, we would do things together and it would be like, oh, you cool. But, you got too out of line. It was like, pick yourself.
Check.
Right. So I think that is very important, that as people of color, that we, making sure that we check on our kids, that we just don't, just because they're going to practices and camps or, rehearsals or doing things and are very active, that we are, thinking, oh, they're okay, because they may not be.
Orlando, can you hand me my computer charger, please?
Oh,
actually, it's over here. Can you look it up for me, please?
You need to mute yourself, sir. You're not muted. Just hit the mute button down there.
I'm so sorry. I did hit it, not fully.
Oh, okay. So anyway, that we make sure that we are checking on our young people and making sure that they are okay. I think it's a lot of young people that are suffering. Even when the parent goes through financial hardship, know that the child is also going through that hardship. So just don't think that because, you may find them a better situation by, letting them stay with an aunt or an uncle or whomever until you get yourself, together and on your feet. Please note that it is still hurtful on the child as well.
Yes.
But,
yes.
I don't know if you saw some of these questions, but I'm just going to.
I'm going to go back. Managed care no longer manages patient care.
Where you are. Most of these healthcare questions I'm not touching too much. I know some, but not much. Depends on the frequency of the doctor's code and cover patient labels. Yeah, that is true too, sister.
Yeah, I'm not familiar much about managed care because I've gotten away from being like that deep into that part of the field, but I can imagine that it's probably, one controls the other. It's the system. That's why they have these things designed the way that they do, because they protect and help and aid each other to do what the other one does. So one, if you don't get blocked on one level, you get blocked on another level and another level. It's all that it's bureaucracy. Basically, it's healthcare, health insurance bureaucracy.
As far as drug use, and people on drugs are fast to get disability because they consider drug use to be a disability. Well, they did.
Yes.
And I'm sure if Trump has his way, they will consider it again because now we have an opioid crisis, which, of course, I mean, our community has been struck by drugs on many levels, but all of a sudden we have an opioid crisis. I wonder why.
Right.
So, I mean, he could be trying to utilize that to knock some of us off and put some of them who are already on it. Because truth be told, there's more recipients of all government assistance. There's more recipients of them than it is of us. But they will never let you know that because that would be too much like right.
Right. But another thing I want to piggyback on that with what Teneri said is that when you are on disability because you're an addict, they get to tell you how much money you get to receive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not based upon your work history unless you have work history. And and I'm not saying that some drug addicts were not at some point a part of the society and being gainfully employed, but they can dictate. So if there's 6 months, $600, $400 a month, and they may have you living in a halfway house, whatever it is, they get to dictate more because you're addicted because of a mental health issue. Drug addiction is considered to be a mental health issue. So then they could say, okay, you can't handle money, so you don't need to have all this money every month. And if you do, you need to have somebody who dishes it out, and they need to tell us what they're having you do with it. And you can report back to us about what you do with the money, because again, they look at it like we're giving you something. We're giving you
by having like a proxy.
Exactly.
Don't have kids, but I'm an aunt. I'm an uncle as well.
Exactly.
Nieces and nephews and always have a listening ear. Yeah, you have to. These kids are dealing with things that we didn't have to deal with. I mean, growing up, the internet was like just really catching fire as far as dial up and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't really, it was like I'd rather go outside and play. But these kids are so inundated in this media age where they're 2 and 3. When my nephew was like 2, he could run through an iPad and know where everything, at least know where the games were to play the games. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. One thing on a mental health note is that I want to kind of get everyone to take time to cut the things off, cut the iPad off, cut the phones off, and actually sit down and talk. Even if you go out and get McDonald's, sit down at the table and talk to your kids. Get to know them beyond just the basic stuff, how their mind works, how their heart and their emotions work. Actually figure out who they are as a person. Show them who you want to actually get their input on who they want to be. But if that's not where it should be, then encourage them and kind of just get involved in that development a little more, because that's what I'm starting to see a cycle of, I should say, is that so many children don't get that. They're not nurtured in that way, so they don't know that some of them feel lost. At kids today that are 21 are not some of them are not the same kids that I was when I was 21. And we need more enrichment so that they know, even if they want to be a mechanic, enrich them to that point. Don't kill their dreams, but whatever they want, instill a vision in them so that they have somewhere to look to, somewhere to go.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. Yes, he even cut funding for mental health. Yeah, so it's definitely very important to be an advocate if you can for mental health, because mental health is definitely important. And just like your regular physical health, mental health is just as important. Just like you go to the doctor every month for a physical, you should be sitting on the couch or talking to someone to get a lot of issues kind of purged out of you. So, you can go through life not holding certain things and, find new life goals, new, if they're
Yes.
not career goals, the life goals, vacation
Yes.
goals. I mean,
Yes.
anything, just to enrich yourself and, get yourself on a different path.
Yes.
Um,
I totally agree with that. I couldn't agree more. I feel like that if you're not taking vacations, you're not decompressing. If you're
mhm.
not decompressing, you're holding it in. If you're
Right,
holding it in, how mentally stable are you at that point? Because
right,
you can snap.
right. That's true.
We all need a break. I need a break, you
Right,
know.
right.
So we have to, even if it's like I'm gonna go up the street or 40 minutes away and stay in the hotel and cut my phone off all weekend. You
Right,
just do it,
right.
you know?
Do I think Trump supporters will protest to keep Obamacare? I mean, if they know what it does for them, of course they will. But the issue is, a lot of the Republicans choose not to tell the people, like, hey, this is actually what helps you keep your health care in middle
Right,
America. Um,
right,
but they're not going to tell them that, or they'll tell them that and they'll just change the name but keep the stuff. And I think basically that's what they're trying to do. They just want to change it from being Obamacare, which Obama himself never put his name on it. So I don't.
right,
They started calling, people started calling it that, but he
right,
never said that he wanted it named after him.
right, right, right.
Um,
Hold on.
Jaden,
I'm looking at yeah, people don't realize how angry they are. Decompressing is a good way to cope. Yes, definitely realize a lot of things about themselves, take the check in.
mm,
If you get more check this today, how do I feel? Talk, even if you need to talk to a friend, talk to yourself. You need to make sure that you are checking in every day with yourself so that at the end of the week and at the end of the month, you don't have so much stuff on your chest that you don't know how to cope with it. If you check in
yeah,
daily, you get to actually know where you stand within yourself.
right.
And, I understand that we all don't possess that. So, I encourage people, again, since we're talking about healthcare, to not just pay your healthcare benefit, um, fee, I guess you could call it for now, to actually offer. Some health insurance plans cover massage. Some health
Mm,
insurance plan cover what some may think is uncomfortable, but acupuncture. Acupuncture is a
mm,
mental wellness and physical wellness thing, and it can help you with so many different things. I know because I go, and I go every week because it helps you to decompress. So see what your health insurance covers, see how it can benefit you, and some of the stuff is not even high deductibles, $5, $10, and even if it is $40, are you not worth $40, 50? You're worth that, right?
mm.
So just think about that and actually take some time to see what your benefits are.
My question is referred to the attack on Iran. Are we going to experience any fuel increases? We may. In times of war, we actually do have fuel increases. And not only that, of course, holiday times,
Right,
times of travel, there would be fuel
right.
increases. So there may be some fuel increases. And sometimes the fuel increases come just to intensify the fact that they want you to be angry about the
Mm-hmm.
war and want you to go fight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So got to be kind of paying attention while you see your gas price rise. You might want to pay attention to the reason why it's rising, because sometimes
Right.
it could just be for the simple fact of just spiking the ball, so to speak, getting the people riled up.
Yep. Yep. It's all a trickle down or something into something else.
Hello, everyone. Anybody that just came into the chat, how you doing? Don't mean to be rude, but thing is rolling. I
Yes.
would like to say that please give it a thumbs up on your way in. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Anything else?
No, I'm looking just to make sure I haven't missed anything that anyone said, and if I have, I'm so sorry.
Well, the ACA, yes, has saved many lives. I mean, it continues to save many lives. During its registration, it always seems to crash the system. So, I mean, it can't be that bad if every time it's time to renew, the system crashes because there's so many
Yeah,
people signing up for it.
yeah, 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 yeah. But hold on. I'll Teddy just said also. I think that was you would be best to suited to respond to that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Many preventive services that are covered with no patient responsibility because of the ACA. Right, exactly. You're exactly right, El Teddy. Um, Shondo to you and welcome. But yeah,
Welcome, sir.
definitely a lot of preventative care uh, as far as cancer screenings, uh, high blood pressure, diabetes, all of those things to help prevent uh, them from taking, people away from here because, without adequate care, you could lose your life for something as simple as watching your diet. Um, so, it's very important that we, again, pay attention to everything going around us, everything that's going on, because, we lose focus, because we get the whole follow the ball syndrome. Something happens and you like, ooh, that shiny object over there. Nope, just stay focused on what's happening because the entire time things are happening, other things are being swept under the rug that are really affecting or will affect you.
Right, exactly.
Let's see. Oh, well, thank you for being in the bushes the entire time. Appreciate it. You know that because you in the
But
bushes. Hey, Lady Nika, how you doing? Welcome, welcome.
Hey, Lady Nika, welcome. Yeah, I think that is about all we have for this week. I want to thank everyone for coming through to support us. Your support is definitely appreciated. And again, please don't forget to go over and subscribe to my channel because I will have some things coming. And again, once I get rolling, it's going to be rolling. And I'll even be filming live once I get my group set up. So again, just want to encourage you all and help everyone to get to a better level. And for those who are unable to afford or don't have the time to go to a therapist, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing and creating what I'm creating. So again, I encourage you to subscribe to me. For now, I will be well, excuse me, we will be doing things weekly. Tongue tied. Hello. We will be doing things weekly,
Right.
and just also subscribe and support Cap because he always is coming out with his CNN reports, and you don't want to miss what's going on because it's
CCNN.
vital information as you see. CCN.
Yes, get it right. Get it right.
Well,
Anyway, but
sorry.
you okay?
But
Just
again, thank you everyone for coming through, and please drop. Okay, we'll do.
okay. Well, I definitely want to say, of course, thank you for everyone coming through. Thank you for the first episode of Politics and Wellness. This will be a reoccurring show every week, Tuesday. As far as the
Yes.
time, you will definitely have to check on that because of schedules. It may not be the same time every week, but it will be on Tuesday. So
Yes.
look forward to it. We'll just be, talking and chatting. Once again, please make sure you subscribe to my bro over here, MrCredentialed. Please make sure you subscribe. He's all about mental health and wellness. So if you have any questions, please make sure you hit him up on his email. It is down in the description box. I thank you for that. And of course, as always, thank you for stopping by for CCN Network TV, otherwise known as your host, Captivating Christian. Thank you for your support in this endeavor to encourage and educate us all on everything, basically dealing with politics, local as well as federal, and getting us more involved in what we spend our money on. Our dollars are very important, and our voices are just as important. So if we matched our dollars with our voices, we would be a great wrecking ball. Seriously. So I definitely encourage you all to don't forget to go to vote.org to check your status on your registration. Again, I'm not. I will check about the other states, but I know Georgia has just purged quite a number of a couple of thousands of hundreds of thousands of voters. So please make sure you are still registered before it's too late. Make sure your name is still on the rolls and counted, because it definitely is vitally important. Again, they will do anything they can to get this man reelected or to keep us from voting. So, you got to do your part as well. Works without actions is dead. So that's what the word says. So we're going to go with that and, do the work to show our actions. So, and with that, I am done. But before we go, we can take a shot of something if you have it. If not, that's fine. You can drink your water, your juice, or whatever.
Whatever you need.
Again, I want to say thank you for everybody coming out. It's for me. It's not about message. The numbers can be small, the numbers can be great, but the message is what matters. And it'll reach some people. And when it does, it'll be able to be lives. So that's the most important thing. So with that said, thanks for coming out for my first, and this is my Christmas gift actually. Can you believe how big this thing is?
Awesome.
Thank you for coming out for the first night of Politics and Wellness. And I hope to see you again next Tuesday. So we're just going to take this salute. I'll take my big gulp. You can take your shot. All right. Well, thank you so much once again. Thank you to the mods.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so
mods.
Much. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you once again at CCN Network TV, of course. All right, and with that, peace.
Peace.